Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us on this Wednesday, and welcome once again to this educational presentation. Now today I want to talk about the last chance to sign up for a brand new course that we're going to be having. In fact, this is going to be a 5-week course of live classes taught by myself, and this is our PTS Primo Charts University. This is a unique class in that we're really taking your trading education to the next level. We're taking what we've taught you before in our online classes, and then we're showing you exactly how to implement it on our platform. For example, let's look at this chart right here in MTP. This is a recent chart coming up into this last week. Once again, most traders would usually look at this and say, well, really nothing going on here. There's really no clues. We're kind of in a range market, so don't really see any reason to jump in, getting long, or even being concerned about this stock. But what I'm going to be teaching you in the course about trend following and early trend following, actually, without looking at what we've all been taught before in the past, would have identified a very strong buyer's bias. And why would that be? Well, because the trend had all of a sudden changed to the upside. And so this was on the 20th, which I believe was Monday. And as you can see, what happened the very next day, the stock jumped up 250% in one day. I know most traders would say, well, you probably had some inside information about some news or something that happened in the earnings, or maybe something about what that stock is going to do, that company. But no, we just follow basically the chart in front of us with a few very extremely simple tools. We're able to know whether something has a buyer's bias or a seller's bias. I want to share all of this with you in our 5-week course. So welcome once again. My name is Steven Primo. I am the president and founder of Specialist Trading. If you're new to my webinars, we really are all about one thing and one thing only, and that is simply educating traders around the world. It's our belief that the reason why most traders fail is because they're uneducated. And so when you don't have the proper education, what's the first thing you do? You rely on someone else to tell you how to trade, right? You go to a chat room, or you go to a blog, or some guy on TV tells you what you should be buying or selling. And it's been estimated that 85% of all traders fail. And so that actually isn't a really good trading plan to follow someone or something else. In my 43 years of trading, the only way I have found for one to become a consistent trader is by making their own decisions. But most traders just simply won't do that. You want to rely on what some guy's saying in a chat room, or some institutional indicator is telling you, or what some guy's saying on TV. That's just simply the way we're taught. But once again, the reason why is because you don't feel you have enough experience, enough knowledge, enough training. Well, that's the gap we fill at Specialist Trading and Pro Trader Strategies. We provide you with that information, with all the things that have stood the test of time, so that you can make qualified decisions on your own. You can work with things that are highly consistent, and you'll never have to rely on going to a trading room or a chat room, or listening to some earnings report or some guy on TV. You can know before you even get into the trade what you want to do. All right? And this is what we're going to emphasize in the new PTS Primo Charts University. We're going to really teach you how to implement and how to do these things on your own. Now, I know firsthand, because I've been trading for 43 years. I started my career on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange. I was on the floor for 16 years, and 9 of those years I was a specialist. That's where we get the name Specialist Trading. I specialized in making markets in about 60 stocks. I made markets during the crash of '87 and the bull market that followed. So I've traded just about everything you can think of. I've traded straight up markets, straight down markets. I traded every system, everything that's under the sun. Trust me, it's been around before. So I know what works in terms of consistency, and I know what doesn't work. So there's no reason to waste your time searching for that perfect method, when it's really about educating yourself, and it's really about just using and applying a few simple tools that have shown consistency, and then making your own decisions. This is our philosophy of Specialist Trading, not to tell you what to buy or sell, but to teach you what to buy or sell. And you're going to see exactly in our university that we devote 5 weeks of simply really trying to instill that in all of our students around the world. Now, before we begin today's presentation, we are required to share this with you, so please take a moment to view our disclaimer. I'm going to show you a lot of performance results and exactly what is contained within our 5-week course, but please remember that we can in no way guarantee that any of the results I'm about to share with you will be repeated in the future, and please remember that all examples are strictly for educational purposes. I see we have a lot of new faces here today, so if you haven't done so already, I want to take this time to invite each and every one of you to follow us on Twitter. There's our handle right there, abbreviation for Specialist trading, I would suggest copying that down and come seeing what we generate on a daily basis. We have different educational little bits of financial wisdom to actual trades that our signals have generated. There's lots of great free education on our Twitter page, so please feel free to follow us on Twitter. Now remember, as I stated, we are a lot bit different from other companies in that our only goal is to educate you. We're not the kind of a company or a website that tells you what to buy on a nightly basis. We don't believe in that. We're not the type of company that tells you what the perfect market is. I can't tell you how many prospective students send me emails and say, Steve, what do you think is the best time frame to trade your strategies? Or Steve, what is the best market? And I always say the same thing. That's up to you to decide. No two traders should ever trade alike. You should never go off someone's advice. They can teach you and share with you things that have high levels of consistency. But if you're asking how they trade, well, that's a recipe for disaster, because trust me, the entire industry is based on you mimicking what someone else is doing or projecting. And once again, 85% of all traders fail. So obviously that doesn't work. So once again, my goal is not to trade for you. A good mentor doesn't trade for you. My goal is not to tell you what market to trade or what time frame or what the perfect indicator is. That's not my goal. My goal is to simply educate you, to teach you these things that have stood the test of time so that you can ultimately make your own trading decisions. That's the specialist edge. That's the same edge that was taught to me some 4 decades ago and what has sustained me now for 4 decades. And hopefully when I be able to teach you in our university, you'll be able to sustain your own trading going on 4 decades, okay? Now, since this is a class, I want to take all your questions, but we have a good crowd here today. So please, if you do have a question, kindly wait to the end of today's presentation. I promise I will get to each and every one of them. The only question I will answer is the most common one, and that is this being recorded? Yes, it is. We record all of our webinars, so if you have to leave early or if you have technical issues, I will send each and every one of you a link to this recording, okay? So please, if you have a question, wait till the end and let us begin today's class. All right, so what we're going to be talking about is the PTS Primo Charting University. I developed this with Pro Trader Strategies because Pro Trader Strategies and myself teamed up around 12 years ago, and that's how we provide and put together all of our courses as well as our platform. Now, before I teamed up with Pro Trader Strategies and right after I did, the only way I could educate our students was through giving online webinars. In fact, that was the only way we could do it, and they were either online or mainly just videos or recordings so that you had to study on your own. But now, with the advent of high-speed computers and programmers, we're able to put together a platform. This is our PTS Primo Charting Platform. So what this does is it takes your trading to the next level because it actually teaches you how to trade. Everything I teach in my course can now easily be transferred over onto the platform. So let's answer the question, who exactly is this course for? Well, it's designed for students who want to take full advantage of our well-rounded trading education while at the same time having the access to a vehicle that can implement that knowledge with one click of their mouse. Think of it. Over 40 years of trading knowledge and expertise right there, one click away, right there in front of you. So you won't have to feel as if you're searching for that Holy Grail when all that education is right there on your platform. So here's what's going to be happening each week. I'll take a concept, a technique, or a strategy that I've taught in past online courses, and then I'll take it to the next level by showing you exactly how to implement it on our new PTS Primo Charting Platform. You see, in the past, a lot of our students, and one of the main reasons why we developed the university, a lot of our students said, well, Steve, this is great what I learned in the course and what I learned in your videos, but I don't know exactly how to implement it. How do I actually use it on the platform? I mean, how do I find this strategy? How exactly do I use it and apply it to my trading? How do I apply the stop placement? I don't even know which one to use. How do I apply the exit levels? All of this different information is all provided on the platform. You understand through the courses of what they're based on, and you understand how to calculate them on your own. But now you're learning how exactly with one click of your mouse to see them on the screen. That's what we're going to be doing in the 5-week curriculum. Okay, so let's go over the 5-week course and what we'll be teaching you. And remember, these are all live classes. So you're going to be there in attendance with me. I'm going to be teaching you. We want to keep the classes small and intimate. we're getting to the point now where the first class is most likely, filling up. So this is our last chance. That's what we call this webinar, the last chance, because after this, we're most likely going to close up that class. If we get inundated with more new students afterwards that have changed their mind and said, hey, all of a sudden I want to become a student of yours, well, then we'll open up a second class, but it won't be in any way involved with the first one. Okay, so let's share with you what's involved in the curriculum. In the first week, we're going to start with the basics. These are the core concepts of trading. Unfortunately, they're like nothing you've ever heard before. Most of these core concepts are different, entirely different from what you've learned. You've always learned that, well, the core concepts are to buy low and sell high, right? And to always listen to see what the stock is doing by looking at the earnings and finding out what the PE ratios are. Well, no, we don't cover any of that in this course. We keep it simple. In my opinion, those are very complicated concepts. The core concepts that we teach are extremely simple, and they work, in my opinion, the best. For example, let's look at this chart. We showed this last time. This was a chart in Zoom. Most traders looking at this will say, well, Steve, look at this going down. We're obviously in a downtrend. I don't want to buy this, right? You always say to trade in sync with the trend. So obviously the trend is down. So I either want to be on the sidelines of Zoom or I want to be a seller, right? Well, with what I'm going to be teaching you in week 1, this would not have been analyzed as a downtrend. In fact, this would have been in an uptrend. And rather than avoiding this, these are all buying opportunities that you could have taken advantage of because this was an overall trend is up. So as you see later on, this is why most traders fail. They're on the wrong side of the market. They don't understand these core concepts. And when they think the market is going one way, it's actually setting up to go the next. It works to the opposite direction as well. Someone looking at this would say, well, Steve, it's a straight up market. I mean, you got to buy this, right? I mean, the guy in the chat room told me to buy it right here. So I'm doing pretty well. Why would I look at it any other way? Price is going up. You have to be a buyer, right? Well, not necessarily, because in this instance, what I'm going to be teaching you in week 1, you would have seen that this was not an uptrend the way most traders would view it. In fact, it wasn't an uptrend at all. It was an overall downtrend. And so rather than looking at this as a nice rally and that you should get involved and buy, what we teach you in the core concepts is that these are actually selling opportunities. If you're long, to look at this as a excuse to get out of the trade, a nice place to get out, or if you were more advanced or more aggressive, you could look at this to go short. And as you see, that was the right decision. Now, that first chart I shared with you in MTP, this was last week. Once again, most traders looking at this would say, well, Steve, nothing happening here. Remember, a range market, this is where you get whipsawed, and plus it's a $1 or $2 stock. Why would I want to get involved with this? Well, it's up to you. Remember, we don't trade for you. We just share with you all this information. We have students around the world who have become consistent traders using these core concepts. Because rather than seeing this as a range market, these traders saw this as a buyer's bias. Right there on that bar, you would have known that the only way you should be looking at this stock, MTP, was from a buyer's point of view. Now, you could have added your own technique, your own strategy, your own method. You could have bought at the market or said, you know what, I'm going to wait for a confirmation. Anything you want, but you know that you're not even going to sell that or be on the sidelines because it's telling you that there's a buyer's bias. And then we saw what happened the next day. It jumped 250%, probably based on some news event. But remember, we don't require news in any of our teaching. News is too subjective. How many times have you heard a news report, a great news report, and the market's gone straight down or vice versa? In fact, look at the world today. We're in the middle of a pandemic. More people have been unemployed ever in the history of our nation. All right, there's unrest in the nation. These are all terrible things that the market would usually fall straight down for. And look at the market, keeps going up. So this is why we don't concentrate or focus on any type of fundamental news because there's no consistency in it. We have found more consistency in just looking at a few simple tools and how they relate to the price in front of you. It's that simple. All right, so that's week number 1, the core concepts. Then we take it up into week number 2. We're going to be talking about the only 2 types of trade setups. Most traders think there are numerous different types of trade setups, buying low, selling high, breakouts, pullbacks, confirmation trades, just support and resistance, Elliott wave. There are only 2 types of trade setups. What's more important than anything is knowing which type of trader you are, because which type of trader you are in terms of your persona will determine which type of setup best suits your nature. In other words, you don't want to be trading strategies or methods that fit the first type when your trading style is more likely to be developed in the second type, and vice versa. This is another reason why most traders fail, because you're trading the wrong type of style. For example, type 1 type of trades generate multiple signals, all right? So if you're a type 1 type of trader, you like to trade certain strategies, certain methods that generates a lot of signals like this. And this was what will make you happy. Now, when I first started trading, just to give you a little bit of background about myself, I fell more into the type number 1. Why? Because I was younger and because I had a lot of energy and I was on the floor where we were buying and selling in a matter of minutes. And I like that action. Now, as I've gotten older in my years, I find myself more of a type 2 type of trader. They'll generate fewer signals, but with type 2 types of trades, you're actually to buy at lower prices and just hold on for the longer trend. Now, I still like to day trade. You can still day trade. I'm still primarily a day trader, but I day trade type 2 types of signals. You see the opposite in that. This is why another big reason why a lot of traders fail. You can think, well, Steve, I only want to be trading once or twice a week, and you think you fall into the type 2 type of style of trading, but in all actuality, you like a lot more trades than that. Most likely, you'll get bored and say to yourself, this is ridiculous. I can't just sit around doing nothing all week long, okay? So you have to find what suits your needs. That's half the battle. After we decide which type of trader you are and we show you the different types of setups, then we move it on to week 3. This is where we start talking and go into depth about trend trading, how to detect early trends, and then how to find out if a trend is still strong or if it's running out of steam. These are some great proprietary tools that you'll only find at Specialist Trading and Pro Trader Strategy. For example, looking at that chart again in Apple, most traders looking at this would say, well, Steve, I don't have enough information, and the only thing I can see here is that we have a bearish engulfing pattern. So if you're asking me what the trend is, just off this early analysis here, I'll say the trend is down. The trend is not down according to what we teach you in week 3. According to this proprietary tool, this is the beginning of an uptrend. Someone would say, well, how would you know that? Well, just off this tool that I was taught myself on the floor, we show you exactly how to apply it to your own trading. Now you see that we were in the beginning, early stages of a nice trend. This is half the battle of getting in before the market really takes off. Now, another issue is to find out that once you're in the trend, well, how much more room to the upside does it have? Is it running out of steam, or is there a lot more room left in it? Now, most traders will say, well, we've gone up here for the last couple of months. I think we're running out of steam. And Steve, I follow the institutions and they're selling. On top of that, that guy on TV says he doesn't like Apple right here and that you should sell and take some profits. Once again, this is how most traders make their decisions, by basing them on faulty analysis. We only take our decisions based off of what the market is telling us. And using a proprietary tool that I developed with Pro Trader Strategies that only listens to the market, was it telling us that we were running out of gas here? Most people would have thought we were overbought. Nope. It was actually saying there was more room left to the upside. And you could see there was. So you're going to learn exactly how to apply these tools. Now, these tools have been on our platform. Many people do not know the proper way to apply them. This is the reason why we created the university, okay? Here's another example of this, using that second proprietary strength of trend tool. Once again, we remember back in March how the market was falling out of bed. Now, this tool is not a signal, it's not a strategy. It just gives warnings and gives you indications if the market is running out of steam in either direction, to the upside or to the downside. Remember in March when the market was falling out of bed in the early stages of the pandemic? Well, at this point, right here in mid-March, it gave a warning saying that the downtrend may be running out of steam. Remember, this is just a warning. It's not telling you to buy. It's not telling you anything other than warning you. But then a week later, it gave another warning saying that we are getting very close to the end of this downtrend. We are basically just running on fumes to the downside. It's more momentum than anything else. And then the very next day, it screamed a third warning. And then we all know what has happened since then, coming into April, May, and June and July. Now, Wouldn't you like to know what that same tool is telling us now? Are we reaching some type of top? Are we running out of gas to the upside? Or still do we have some more momentum left to go much higher? We'll teach you exactly how to apply this to your own trading. And all of these tools can be applied to any market and time frame. I don't want you to think that we can only apply them to stocks. I use them for E-mini trading. I trade mainly E-mini futures. We have currency pair traders that apply them. We have long-term investors, so it makes no difference what market or what time frame you trade. All of our tools and concepts can easily be transferred over. Okay, excuse me, that was week 3. Up until now, we've just talked about trend and different types of concepts and philosophy. Let's add some structure by teaching you how to apply and use my favorite strategy, okay? This is a strategy I learned some 4 decades ago on the floor of the Pacific Stock Exchange when I was trading. My mentors taught me this strategy. Now, when I first used this strategy, I was using this, for intraday trading, and I still use it for intraday trading. But you can apply this to swing trading, long-term investing, and it makes no difference once again. Now, the beauty of this is that in our courses, we teach you the exact rules. This is not a black box. We teach you exactly what generates a signal. But on the same time, we're showing you how to apply this correctly and to check your work, because our goal is for everyone to be able to properly identify a strategy and then to just simply look at a chart and then decide where you want to get in, where you want to exit, where you want to place your stop, and then just watch the trade unfold. Now, for example, let's say that you thought you saw a signal right here in Apple as it was going up. The way you would check your work using our platform as a mentor is simply to click on strategy number 4. That's the course we're going to be teaching you. You'll get a drop-down menu right here, okay? The way you check your work to see if you've properly identified a setup bar is to click on signal arrows. And as you can tell, that's where the signal was. That's where you properly identified. So you're learning how to properly identify these on your own. You see how much you've empowered yourself by finding where a setup is, by acknowledging where the market is telling you it wants to go higher, rather than having to go to a chat room, having to go and watch TV and see what he thinks of the market or what he wants you to buy or sell. For the first time, you're taking control of your own trading destiny. How? By learning the concepts in our courses and then by applying them on the platform. Now, in the drop-down menu, you'll also find different ways in which to enter. Here's just one of the different ways, and it automatically is generated on the platform. Different ways to exit, and it automatically comes up here. This is just one of our different exit methods. And then places in which to place your stop. This takes us to week number 5. Now, we're not just going to be talking about stops in week number 5. We're going to be talking about some advanced money management concepts. These are things that have never been taught before, except in a few courses, but we're going to be sharing them with you in our university. And this is a way to really make your trading into almost a business, because once you apply money management, well, then you're really trading like a professional. Up until this time, most traders think they're really trading professionally, but you're really just gambling. You're just throwing your money out the door and just saying, well, I hope it sticks and I hope I have a winner. Once you have the strategy, understand all these concepts we taught you in the previous weeks, and then apply advanced money management, you are trading like a professional. These are the way professional traders on the floor trade. For example, in the drop-down menu, once again, all you have to do is click on stop placements, which we teach you how to apply on the course, but we'll share with you. It's not a black box, but then click them on and they automatically appear at these designated spots. So this is going to be all covered within the 5 weeks. It works on the downside as well. And one of the great things about this is you can use this also as a trailing stop. For example, here was a strategy signal, okay? Once you click on stop placement, you would see that the stop automatically is generated. So this is where you want to place your stop. Let's say you sold right here and you have a nice profit. But let's say you took a little bit of your short position off the table, you captured some profits, but you wanted to stay in for the remainder. One of the ways to do it is to still see if there are signals being generated. Every time a signal is generated, you simply apply the stop placement for that, and then you would drop your stop from this point down to here. And as you continue to proceed in your direction, look for more signals, click on stop placement, and drop that stop down to here, and so on. This is a great technique for trailing once you have a really strong moving trend. Just one of the many, if not dozens, techniques that we teach you. Okay, so there you have it. That's our 5-week course. We just shared with you a tip of the iceberg of what we're going to be teaching you. Remember, each week, what I'm going to be doing is I'll take either a concept, a technique, or a strategy that I've taught in the past in an online course, and then I'm going to take it to the next level. I'll show you how to directly implement it on our new PTS Primo Charting Platform in some type of a way in which you can apply it to your own trading, in some type of a trading plan. So here is one example of just one of the daily trading plans you'll be able to execute with the help of the new PTS Primo Charting University. All right, let's take it step by step. The first thing you want to do on a nightly basis, if you want to use this particular plan, is perform a nightly strategy number 4 scan. Strategy number 4 is the method we will be teaching you in the course. Now, remember, you'll know exactly what generates a 4 signal. You'll know all the rules that go into that, but you can't take the time to look at all the stocks in the universe. So what you want to do is click on our scanner. So in our opening page here of the platform, when you open it up, click on strategy number 4. In the drop-down menu we showed you earlier where you were clicking on signal arrows, this time click on scanner and you'll see this page appear. This is the strategy number 4 scanner page right there on your screen, okay? Now, what you want to do next is simply go to load symbols. Now we provide you with this different symbol list. You'll see a drop-down menu appear. You can have a symbol list for ETFs, for the S&P 500, for NASDAQ, for Asian markets, for currency pairs, for Bitcoin, for the E-mini futures, for current, for anything you want just about. Canadian markets, European markets, it makes no difference. And different time frames as well. Once you decide which market you want to scan, click it on, and for keep things simple, we selected the Dow Jones 30, okay? Now, once it comes up, all you have to do is click scan. Now, this whole process takes about 30 seconds. I've just taken the last couple of minutes to show you how simple it is, but it'll take you roughly 30 seconds a night. And once you click on scan, you'll see in about 5 or 10 seconds a series of red or green horizontal bars. The red bars just mean that there's a sell signal in the corresponding stock, and the green ones mean that there's a buy signal. Now, let's look at something that happened coming into July. You would have scanned for this, and you could have seen that the buy signal was generated in Amazon. Now, let's say you like to buy options, okay? It's up to you. Remember, we don't tell you how to trade. We just simply teach you high probability setups. If you want to buy options, if you want to buy one share of stock, if you want to do some type of a spread, it's entirely up to you. That's your choice as the trader. Remember, you're in charge of your destiny. We're not telling you how to trade. We're teaching you these setups. So let's just say you wanted to buy the calls, all right, out of the money calls. Well, before you even took the trade, you say, well, listen, I'm going to see if I want to use this trading plan. Where do I want to enter? I'm not just going to buy at the market, because we all know that sometimes, let's say you had a buy signal right here. Well, look what happened. The next couple of days, it went lower and lower. So we want to use the confirmation method, which is just 1 or 2 ticks above the high of this setup bar. So once again, we click on our entry, stop, and exit levels. In the drop-down menu, we get all this information, and this is our entry point right here. Then we can also click on our stop placement right here. Now, if we decide that, okay, this is an adequate enough risk, or maybe it's too much risk, we say, I don't want to take this trade. Or maybe it's okay. And then we have other stop placements as well that you can use. But let's just say you decided to use this generic one. You decide I'm going to take the trade, but you want to see where are your different exit levels. Well, using just one of our different methods right here. Remember, you have 4 different exit levels, but this is just one method. We also have about 5 or 6 other different methods for exiting. So these are all the different places you could have exited the trade if you wanted to. You have all this information in your daily trading plan even before you decide to enter. So this is a great, great tool to educate yourself and to see if you want to take the trade or not. Because remember, we're trying to educate you so that you can make that decision. You should never let anyone trade for you. You have to make your own trading decisions. So let's say you decided to take the trade, okay? So all you have to do is trust in yourself, or just say, you know what, it's too much risk, or you know what, I changed my mind. Either way, you decide. So let's see what happened in this trade. Well, if you decided to get in, you would have purchased it the very next day. And if you wanted to, you could have gotten out in one day for roughly about, I'd say about a 65, maybe even close to 70-point gain. Not a bad little trade there, right? But let's say you wanted to go a little further. So you would use exit level number 2. All right? The next day, guess what? You got out at exit level number 2 if you wanted to use that exit level. Now, still some of our students say, Steve, here's the way I like to use it. If we get up to point 1 here, I move my stop to unchanged. That way I won't lose anything. If we get up to point 2, I move it up to here. And if we get up to point 3, I move it back up to here. Now, someone would think, well, gosh, so I just keep doing this on and on until I get stopped out? Well, what we tell our students is that you should get out of the trade altogether at this level. Why? Because that's usually where the trend changes. So in roughly 3 days, you had a very nice trade there. In fact, I believe you made about 266 points in about 4 days. Not a bad little trade, right? Especially if you had the out-of-money calls. Now remember, this is just one of the ways you could have traded. There are literally dozens of different plans and different ways to focus on that you will learn in the university. And this was an actual scan that took place the first week of July, just a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Here's another example. If you wanted to go short, a lot of traders think the market may be moving down. They say, well, Steve, what if this market turns around? Can I go short? Sure. Our strategies generate not only buy signals, but sell signals, depending on the requirements, man. Here was a sell signal in EHTH, okay? You could have gotten short once it traded 1 tick below right here. Here's the same entry point. Place your stop here. You could have bought puts or actually shorted the stock. It's up to you. Here are the 4 different levels. Remember, we always advise our students to exit at the 4th because usually that's where the trend changes. Now, you could have made a nice quick 14 points in roughly about a week or so, but then look what happened after that. So you want to get out, especially while you're learning these concepts, at the 4th exit level. Stop making the same mistakes over and over again. Stop listening to people, places, or things telling you how to trade. We never do that. All we do is teach you things that have stood the test of time, that have high levels of consistency. Whether you want to use them or not is entirely up to you, and how you want to use them is entirely up to you. The PTS Primo Charts University can help you become a more efficient as well as consistent trader. So here's your last chance because we're going to be starting class in roughly a couple of weeks. Become a student of mine in the new PTS Primo Charting University. This is our inaugural launching of this course. We've never had this before. We've never taken the best of both worlds, our online courses, and shown you how to properly apply them actually on the platform. So we're going to be taking the best of both worlds. And then by the end of this course, you'll be able to use everything on the platform and know exactly how to implement it. And you'll feel very comfortable with all the different applications and be in charge of your own trading destiny. That's our goal. All right, let's break it down. Now, if you purchase this separately, all of these things individually, which we're going to be offering you in the 5 weeks, it would cost you close to $20,000. We know that's way too much for most of you. We would never charge anything that much. So we're going to slash that down to $49.95. But because we have roughly about 2 weeks left before we start class, we're going to slash it again. We're going to take an extra $500 off, okay? So the price is $44.95. And on top of that, we also have another bonus. We're going to add, for the first 100 members, 12 months free of the PTS Primo Charting Platform, okay? We're going to give you 12 months of the platform. As we know, we have some students who already have the platform, and they say, well, Steve, I already have it. But we also know that we have a lot of students who are joining us for the first time who have no idea how to use the platform. They've never used it before. They have members of our courses, but they've never really traded with or used the platform. So you're going to get that as well. One more bonus that we're including are payment plans. We realize that not everyone can come up with $44.95. So for a small deposit, you can still be up and running. Excuse me. So for a limited time only, we will make payment plans available. So this is a great, great offer. You become a student of mine in a live 5-week course. You can learn intimately with me. And once again, if we kind of exceed our first class levels, we'll open up a second class at a different time and different learning techniques, okay? Lastly, I just want to share with you what my mentors taught me. They said, Steve, there really is a holy grail, what you've been searching for, a perfect trading method that generates amazing results. And I said, what is it? Share it with me so I don't have to work hard anymore. What is this perfect system? They said, it's called educating yourself. And I didn't want to hear that when they first told me that 40 years ago, because I said, why can't you just tell me what you buy or sell and I'll just do the same thing? What's the difference? Because they understood what I now understand is that you won't make money that way. every trader comes in with different luggage. Some traders are more risk adverse. Others don't like risk at all. They want to keep things trading very smoothly and nicely without any risk. Some traders don't mind trading 100 times a day. Other traders like to trade once a month. So even if they're producing the same signals, you can't follow it. And you'll most likely, even if the system generates 90% winners, most likely you'll lose. Why? Because you're not comfortable with it. So you have to educate yourself and then make your own decisions based off what makes you feel comfortable. The good news is we provide that service. We give you literally dozens of different trading methods all in the university. And you can decide, well, I like that one. I like that entry technique. I don't like that one, but I like this one. I'll use it. Or I like that exit technique. I like a couple of them. I'll use those. The other 5 I'm not really comfortable with, so I'll use these 2. Or I like this risk management technique because it has very small risk. Or someone else can say, I have a very big account. I like this risk technique because this stop placement has a lot of risk, but I don't mind. Everyone has to trade to their own means. This is why you must educate yourself to find out how you will make your own decisions. So come along with me. Be a member of this first course, our university. You can contact Pro Trader Strategies. They developed the course with me, and they're in charge of all the pricing. I personally would highly recommend giving them a call. There's absolutely no obligation. They won't try to sell you anything, but they would work with you with the price if you needed a payment plan. Or if you already have the platform, they will be able to work with you and give you some type of deal, because we know a lot of people already have the platform. Give them a call at 310-598-6677. They have trained trading consultants, I should say, manning the phones right now. They would be more than happy to answer any question, absolutely no obligation. Just give them a call and they can set up and give you a price on a payment plan. For a small deposit, once again, you can be up and running when we start class in a couple of weeks. Now, that link you see at the very bottom will take you to the info page, and you can also sign up on that page as well. Now, it's not a live link, but I just posted a live link on the chat box on the far right-hand corner. If you want to use that, you can click that on, and it will take you directly to the info page for the university, okay? I promised I would reserve the last portion of today's webinar for any questions, so if you have them, please go to the question and answer box, open it up, type in any questions you have, and I will answer them at this time. Let me see here. Someone's saying, how do you identify the market bias? Well, that's what we're going to teach in the course. It's done with a very simple tool, and it's very basic, but this has worked tremendously. In fact, if you go to my Twitter page, which I gave you earlier, there are a number of examples where we don't give away the rules, but we share with you other stocks, futures, currency pairs where they have the bias. And it's just as simple as finding out what the bias is, and then you trade in that direction. That's how you become a consistent trader, okay? Someone's asked, for personal schedule reasons, when do you think the classes will start? In 2 weeks? Yes, we're planning on starting them actually right now, tentatively, a week from this Friday, so the 31st, the last Friday in July, okay? Now, that's open to change if we have enough students that say that doesn't work for us, but usually that works very well. One of the main reasons why we like to have them on Fridays is because that gives you an entire week to study what we just shared with you in the hour or 2 hour long class. So, for example, what we usually do is have the classes roughly on Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, the same time that this webinar started. But we have them on Fridays. They run anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, and we can have them longer or shorter if you'd like. And then we give you a ton of information, and then you can study that and look at that over the weekend. That's what a lot of our members have told us in the past what they like to do. But be advised, we've also given them in the past on a weekend. If we have more students telling us they'd like to have it on a weekend, we can do that on Saturday. We've also done them before the market opening sometimes. We can do that as well. So it's entirely up to the majority of the students, but we're looking right now tentatively at a week from this Friday, the 31st of July at 10 a.m. Pacific time, okay? And we're going to give them once a week. And usually they will be on Friday at 10 o'clock Pacific time, and they will be once a week for 5 weeks, okay? And remember, someone's saying, what if I cannot attend all of them? That's okay. We will record just like we're recording this presentation, and you will be able to watch them at your own leisure. But I would highly suggest it, at least trying to accommodate a couple of the live classes because we're going to try and keep them intimate, roughly about 20, 25 people. And what we want to do is have them there so that you can ask me questions. They're going to be online classes, so you can ask me via the internet, and we can, learn that way. It's a lot easier to learn than through classes, what we used to have, where we'd have 100 or 200 in a class, and then the next thing you know, there's just too many questions being asked, and someone wouldn't even get their questions answered. Okay. Someone is asking, what is your winning ratio? Well, remember, this is probably one of our most often asked questions. There are no winning ratios because you can only get a winning ratio if everyone trades the same way, because that means you have to trade the exact same way. Everyone enters the exact point, everyone exits at the exact point, everyone places their stop at the exact same point. And that way, over time, you can see what exactly are the winning ratios. And remember, 5 minutes ago, I just said you should never trade like anyone else. You should never trade. You should follow your own means. This is a recipe for disaster if you're trading or mimicking what someone else is doing. Remember, I said to my mentors, why can't I just trade the way you guys trade? You're winning. You're making money. And now I realize why they didn't want me to do that is because I most likely would have lost money. So I really don't believe in statistics or numbers because, trust me, I used to teach and trade systems that required everyone to enter at the same place, exit, place your stop at the same place, and they were all back tested. They all had winning ratios. They all had worst case scenarios. They all had, tremendous numbers, some tremendous numbers going back 10, 20 years. And then when the market changed, the market change environments, guess what? All those systems blew up. They all failed. All the money that was made went out the window. So I don't really have much faith in them. The reason is because you should never trade like anyone else. You have to find your own way. Now, the beauty is with our methods, everyone can trade the same signal. Like I gave you that signal in Amazon. We could have had at least a dozen different ways to trade that. And most likely all of you would have made money but had different results. But why? Because you would have chosen different points of entry. You would have chosen different stop placements, and you would have chosen different exits. Some members would have gotten out at the first 5-point gain. Other members would have stayed in for 100 points. Other members would have stayed in and continued to stay in. All right? Is one worse than the other? Absolutely not. The only thing that's bad is when you base your trading off of what someone else is doing. Never, ever do that. Take it from someone who has been trading before. Okay? We don't believe in any of that. We don't have any estimations because we want you to trade according to your own means. So we can't keep statistics on every one of our tens of thousands of traders. We have thousands of traders trading all over the world and in every state in the United States. We can't keep statistics on that. And we shouldn't. You have to find your own way. This is our philosophy. And this is our belief. Remember I said in the beginning, we're a little bit different from other webinars in that we don't trade for you. We teach you how to trade. Okay? Good questions. Good questions. And remember, lastly, someone was asking, well, I have taken your courses before. What's the difference between this and a course? Remember, each week I'll take either a concept or a technique, a tip or a strategy course that I've taught. Okay, we're going to take something that we've taught in the courses, but we're going to take it to the next level because we're going to show you how to properly apply it on the platform. You see, most traders we've found out don't know how to properly use it and all the different variables you can have to use it. They just know what they learned in the course and they say, okay, I guess that's all I'll be able to do with this. But the platform is an amazing tool. It's like having your own personal trading mentor right there because it really teaches you how to trade, okay? Someone's asking, what strategy 5, what time is good to scan and buy a good setup for a buy and sell? Well, once again, I don't know if you heard what I just said. This is something you have to decide. I can't tell you it because I have probably traders saying the best time and the best time to scan is before the opening. And then someone else would say, no, the best time is after the close. And then someone would say, no, the best time is at noon. Once again, you have to find your own way. I know it's very difficult. We've all been trained to say, tell me what to do. All right? Tell me what's the best time frame. Tell me what the best time is to scan. Or someone say, tell me what the win-loss ratio is so I can know if I should do it. Tell me what to do. We're all trained to take ourselves out of the game. We're never trained to make our own decision. Think of it this way. Think if you had to have an operation, all right? Before you went to the operation, you heard the doctor asking one of his assistants, tell me how to do this operation. What do you think I should do? Would you have much confidence in that doctor? I don't think so. Or let's say you had to fly from New York to Los Angeles or New York to London, okay? And while you were boarding the plane, you heard the pilot say to the co-pilot, hey, tell me how I should fly this, or what do you think I should do to fly this? Would you feel comfortable if you heard the pilot say that? But for some reason, students always think it's okay to ask the teacher, tell me what's the best thing to do here. Tell me, how should I do this? That's not our goal. Remember, that's a recipe for a disaster. What you should be saying is, teach me a setup that I can learn and then I can apply to make my own decisions. That's what we do in our courses. That's our only goal. That's our only purpose, to provide you with high probability setups that have stood the test of time. Our goal is to have you learn to never ask this question, and that is, what do you think I should do? What do you think of the market? You should learn and know those right off the bat. That's what we're trying to instill in all of our students. And guess what? The university is a great place to learn that concept. Think of it. Why do you go to a chat room? All these other websites. Why do you go to a chat room? Why do you go to a trading room? To find out what they're doing, right? To find out how they like to trade, to find out what they're buying or selling. Once again, that's taking you out of the game. Why do you listen to a guy on TV when he talks when the market's closed, what he thinks the market's going to do? To find out what he thinks the market's going to be doing the next day. To find out what he likes or doesn't like. I never look at those things. I used to, but I stopped looking at them 4 decades ago, and I'm still here. So there's no reason to worry and think that you have to cling on to those things. It really won't make you any more consistent. What will make you consistent is to learn these highly consistent methods and techniques and strategies, and then applying them so that you are in charge. Our only goal is to have you make your own decisions, not us, okay? So I hope you understand our concept. I hope you understand why so many traders around the world love our teaching, because we're really trying to make them better traders. We're trying to teach you how to trade, not trade for you. Remember, the course is going to be starting 2 weeks from now, roughly, on the 31st. That's our tentative schedule, roughly at the same time we started today at 10 o'clock, but it'll be on the Friday, on the 31st. So take advantage of this good price. Remember, we're giving you over roughly about $20,000 worth of information, discounted down to, I believe that was, what was that, $49.95? No, $44.95. And you can also get a payment plan scheduled as well. So call Pro Trader Strategies. There's absolutely no obligation. They would be more than happy to give you an estimate for a payment plan, and then you can decide. But make the decision quickly before we go back up to that regular price, okay? In closing, I hope you got some good insight into exactly how we teach and what our concepts and philosophies are. And as we close, I just want to say thank you for taking time out of your Wednesday. I look forward to all of you becoming students of mine in the brand new PTS Primo Charts University. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and hope to see you in class in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.